What's going on, Gator Nation? The spring season for men's golf is right around the corner, and we're happy to be joined by Florida head coach JC Deacon. Coach, how you doing, man?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you here. And last time we saw you in late October, a couple of big wins at a big prestigious event. You knock off Ole Miss, #1 Virginia. How much momentum does that give you going into the spring season?
Yeah, we actually ended with 2 wins. First one at the Williams Cup there, which was a great stroke play win against an amazing field and beating a great North Carolina team on their one of their home courses. And then obviously the East Lake Cup was one of the best victories we've ever had since I've started here at Florida, and that was big time. You know, obviously Ole Miss has one of the best teams in the country. For sure, ton of seniors and great talent there. So beating them was awesome. And then Virginia, we got a little revenge for the national championship last year. They beat us in the semis, and they have an unbelievable team. Ben James, one of the best players in the country. So they took us, gave us everything we could handle, but our guys persevered in some awful weather, and big Parker Bell putt there on the 18th hole, 17th and 18th hole. But that was an emotional win and a big one for our program.
Yeah, real emotional down the stretch. Was a cool moment for this program. When you look back at the fall season overall, I know as a coach you're always looking for ways to improve and get better. What were the big takeaways?
Well, Luke Poulter was missing from our first event, and we got off to a pretty rough start out in Seattle. So I think probably the biggest positive I take from it is we handled adversity really well. I mean, I think we beat 1 or 2 teams, maybe 3 teams at our first event. It was terrible. And then we had a pretty rough event at Erin Hills as well in some windy conditions. But so many positives. Got some freshmen playing well. Jack Turner, Luke Poulter, Zach Swanwick, continue to be the heart of our lineup. And we've got a ton of talented guys and a ton of competition, and we got a recipe for a chance to be special.
Coach, you mentioned recipe. 2 of the last 3 SEC championships for the Florida Gators, different lineups year in, year out. How do you maintain consistency in a program?
Well, there's certainly a lot that goes into it. I think, first off is the staff that we've built here. We've got the best. I don't ever want to call him assistant. He's the associate head coach now, Dudley Hart. He does an unbelievable job with our guys. He is the definition of all in, and has greatly helped us develop our guys' golf games. And then Marcus First has been our athletic trainer for a long time now, and I think he's going on 5 years. And the way he pours into their bodies and training them and getting stronger and more fit, and their minds as well, contributing to their toughness. He's just been a game changer for us. And then you got Garen Rowland, who's taking care of the academics. We had one of the best GPAs in the fall that we've ever had. So I think just getting every avenue of your program running on full cylinders, and just continuing to keep the standards really high. We have great leadership, blessed to have Matthew Kress as a senior, and he just brings it every day in all facets of his life, and holds the guys to incredibly high standards. So it's kind of running itself right now. It's a lot of fun to be around, and certainly excited for this spring.
You mentioned Matthew. He's one of the remaining players who was on that 2023 national championship team. What does his experience provide for the rest of the guys? Can you go a little more in depth on that?
Yeah, he's been through everything. Matthew's won everything. He has worked harder than any young man that I've ever been around. So he's just one where you get into those big moments, he's just not going to flinch. And he's worked so incredibly hard to be ready. And I think he really believes in himself when the stakes get high. And we all have a great deal of belief in him as well. He's proved it time and time again. And he's got 3 rings on his fingers, and we're hoping to add to that this spring.
That's always the easy recruiting pitch, right? As you can just kind of point to the rings.
Yes. Yeah. We got a little taste of it back there in 23, and winning the SEC was big last year. That was the first year with Texas and Oklahoma, who are 2, perennial great golf schools. And for us to get that first one with those 16 teams was really special. And I know this team wants more.
Coach, you talk about perennial contenders. You're going to have a couple of them at the Gators Invitational that'll be here in Gainesville, Oklahoma State, Auburn. How exciting is that opportunity to bring in high-quality opponents onto your home turf?
Yeah, it's really exciting. This is the best field we've had since I started coaching here at Florida, and that's just a testament to our players. And they've set a really high standard and been contenders year in and year out. And I think some of the best teams in the country want to come and knock them off. And it's also be great to have my former assistant coach and the head coach at Notre Dame, John Handrigan, back in town. He's got a lot of friends and fans in Gainesville, so he's done an incredible job with his program there at Notre Dame, and they've got another great year going. So be good to have him back, but it's kind of heightened everyone's senses when it comes to our tournament, and I know our guys are really honored to have such a special field and talented field, and we're going to be ready to go.
Let's talk some more about the guys on your team for the 5 starters back, as we talked about. One of them, of course, being Jack Turner. Last I checked, he was 16th in the amateur rankings. He continues to dazzle and grow. What are the biggest things he's working on in his game right now?
Yeah, so I think Jack got up as high as number 10 in the world at one point. The thing with Jack is he just continues to work every day. Rarely these young men come along where they are professionals, and Jack treats this like a profession. He's up early every day. He is turning himself into an incredibly strong young man. The work he's put in the gym is on a Matthew Kress level, and it's been fun to see him get longer and straighter too with his driver in his time here at Florida. But he just keeps improving every part of his game. He's very diligent in monitoring his technique and his short game, and he's one of the most coachable players that Coach Dudley and I have ever had. He listens. He doesn't always agree right away, but he considers it and soaks it up, and he's been willing to make changes with his emotional control and strategy, and just his putting's getting better. It's so exciting with Jack because every, it seems, month that goes by, he continues to improve, and his confidence has become as strong as anyone's, and he's a real leader. We've leaned on him a ton, and I can definitely say he's become one of the best players in college golf.
Well, you've got a lot of great players on this team, including Luke Poulter, who overcame that back injury, missed 7 months with a stress fracture. What's made you proudest about his recovery, and how's he come out the other side better?
Yeah, I think going through that process with Luke was really difficult because he loves the game and loves the Florida Gators and wants to be out there with his teammates, and him having to sit on the couch and pretty much do nothing. That was kind of the medicine that he was given, was he just had to rest it. And that was incredibly hard for him. I know how bored he was. I tried to call him almost every week, and I remember talking to him. He just had nothing to do. These guys pour their lives into golf, and he went without that. But I think that built an incredibly strong perspective. Luke came back with an appreciation for the game and his pursuit of excellence that was different from when he started. And he's maturing. He's working on some of those weaknesses, especially his emotions on on the golf course. And I think he's still got a ways to go there, and that's exciting because I think he can get even better. But he played in the Walker Cup, which is arguably the greatest amateur golf tournament you can play in, and he held his own against a great United States team. So Luke, along with Jack, is becoming one of college golf's best players. Extremely reliable. He's good at everything. Great driver of the ball. Awesome putter. Very, very clutch. And I think there's big things coming for Luke Poulter.
Well, we've already seen some big things out of Zach Swanwick, who last year was an all-freshman team selection in the SEC, made semis at Western this past summer. For a guy who's such a good ball striker, what's the next step?
Yeah, Swanee is as good of a driver of the golf ball as you'll find in the world. I'll put him up against anyone. His ball flight off the tee is just repeatable and consistent and trustworthy. It's amazing to watch. It's been a joy to have him around. But he's still got some development to go. I think his wedges and iron play can still get better. and a little more consistent. And then they're around the greens is the biggest thing, is just, chipping and putting at a more consistent level, continuing to work on his speed, continuing to work on putting inside of kind of 10 feet there, because he does hit so many quality iron shots, and gives himself maybe more looks at birdie than most other players. So there is, an added element of pressure on his putting, but he's putting the time in and continuing to improve. He's also very coachable, and he's learning learning to control those emotions. He's a strong competitor, but Swanee's just so consistent, and that's what you love to see as a coach. You know what you're going to get with him every day, and he's tough, and he's just a centerpiece in our lineup.
With a lot of these guys, you talk about managing the emotional side of it. How much of your job as a coach is working with your student athletes on the mental side of their game?
Yeah, it's a huge part of it at this level. To get to the University of Florida, you obviously have a great deal of talent, and you can play golf at a high level, but a lot of them cannot control their emotions at a high level. And I get it. It's not talked a lot about in junior golf. You're only worrying about yourself, but at the next level and playing college golf and playing on a team, your emotions affect everyone else. And it's a big piece to the championship teams. And I think when we've started to get better at this, 2022-23, we've seen some pretty big success. And Coach Dudley and I are all in on that, and all our guys know, you're not going to play for this team if you can't control your emotions. And we know as postseason gets closer, the stakes only go up, and the pressure goes up, and we need guys who can control their emotions in those big moments. And we think we have it.
Well, in this era of the transfer portal, of course, everybody is looking for guys who can come in and be contributors. Noah Kent certainly fits the profile of one of those guys. What have you seen from him, your initial impressions, and how he's gelled with this program?
Yeah, Noah's an awesome young man. He's been a great addition. I really enjoy spending time with him. He's got a great personality, and he truly loves the game of golf. Man, he puts his heart and soul into it, and he wants to be great. But I think he's learned quickly that the SEC and the University of Florida is a really, really high level, and you've got to beat some great players on your own team to get in the lineup there. So that's the next step for him, is playing great and qualifying at home and earning his chance on the road. And then when he gets in on the road, you got to go and take advantage of that opportunity and play well. But incredibly talented, has as much speed and power as anyone in college golf. And, he's fine-tuning all the other aspects of his game, including his mental game. And we're really excited for his bright future.
Coach, you and I know how deep your roster is, but just to familiarize us with maybe some of the other guys on this group you think can be great contributors this year, and things that you've seen through the fall season to now and through some of the time off.
Yeah, we got 10 guys on our roster, and I'll put those 10 guys up against any team in college golf. I will do that anytime, anywhere. Yeah. And we have so much talent, and more importantly, we have great habits and great standards, and all of them are living up to that. And you think of Parker Sands, who's been knocking on the door for a year and a half now, and he's going to break through at any time. And then you got three freshmen, Parker Sievers, Trevor Gacheski, and Joshua Bai, and they're just incredible players in their own right. And they're doing great things. And it's any moment that they're gonna break through. So I think probably more than ever with the talented roster we have right now, is those guys have got to be patient and continue to do the right things. It's not always easy, but if they just keep doing the right things and working on their games and working on themselves and growing up and getting better in all aspects, they're going to make a big difference here. And it's really, really exciting.
Coach, from now until when you guys go up to Georgia to play in SECs, what are some of the biggest keys for this team to be successful?
Just continuing to compete at home and pushing each other, continuing to fine tune our skills. I think we can be a lot better around the greens this spring than we were in the fall. But I really love the way we drive the ball as a group. I really love the way we strike it, with our irons and wedges. We're going to continue to work really hard on those areas. But, it's just the emotional control and, honing that in the big moments. And we're going to have some in the regular season here leading up to SECs, but that's what the standard is in this program now. We're all trying to get ready for the postseason to be as competitive as we possibly can, and that's an exciting place to be. And I know by the time April rolls around, our guys are going to be ready.
And we're ready to watch them go out and compete. Coach, appreciate the time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in.